Okay, Juliaetta City Council meeting, September 9th, 7 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes and the payables.
Make a motion to accept the budget hearing and special meeting. Can we do both?
Yeah.
And the payables all as one, for August, for 10/25, and the payables for August 2025.
A second.
All in favor? Motion passes. You did the payables as well, correct? Okay. Okay, so next is Chanda. You want to step up to the podium?
Oh.
Didn't tell you that part.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna move out. We can wrap it up here. Let's slip it out.
So you're actually just behind the camera, so nobody will see you.
Oh, that's even better. So we just wanted to talk about the safety of the pedestrian crossing across Highway 3. We understand this has been something that's kind of been ongoing for many years. And we understand that it's part of Idaho State Transportation because it's a highway. So, and they are resistant to lowering it to 25, is that?
So over the 11 years that I've been on council, we've had several studies done. And they say that when they do the traffic study, people are actually going slower because they see the traffic study, so they go slower. So they feel that the speed limit is appropriate, even though the city has voiced their opinion several times that we would like to be the 25, because I believe we're one of the only ones, if not the only one in Idaho that's 35.
Both of us have traveled separately, and Morgan's had her own experience with this recently. But yeah, every time we came through a slow town, it was like, is that 25 or is it 35?
Yeah.
So what about getting like the flashing lights that pedestrians can push to just kind of get the attention? Because it seems like, when it's 35, people go 40, even though,
Right,
I mean, it's great.
right.
The sidewalks or the crosswalks are much brighter now, and that's great. And the signs are up, but just to kind of get people's attention, like, hey, there really are people here, because so many times we go down to the walking path. We love it. But my daughter and I play Frogger every morning trying to cross it.
Yeah.
And then Morgan, do you want to share?
Yeah, it's just been this last summer. My husband and I use the trail a lot. We're very outdoorsy and try to stay in shape. It's a very great attraction for us. But twice now this summer, I've almost been hit by a car in the crosswalk. Like, had to scream at them to stop, because I don't know if they think that they're rolling slow enough, I'm going to get out of the way in time for them to roll through. Like,
right.
I don't know, but and this last weekend, we screamed for him to stop, and the gentleman stopped, but he slammed on his brakes. He put his car in park all in one motion. He got out and started trying to fight my husband for just basically trying to get him to stop, because I look up and he's still rolling through. Like, he's literally this far from the crosswalk, still rolling towards me. And
yeah.
I can see it and run out of the way, but like, had he not yelled and got my attention, I didn't even, partly my fault, I wasn't paying attention as much, but the gentleman started at the top where 3rd Street is. I'm sorry, is that 4th? It's right where the crosswalk is that leads up to the school.
4th.
4th. He had started his path, he did a U-turn right there and had started on Main Street up there. So I felt like he had ample time to see me in the road, and I don't know if he just wasn't paying attention. He had kids in the car, if he was distracted, but the altercation was quite not pleasant.
Right.
And it's just, yeah. So I understand. I didn't know that I've just moved here, so I didn't know all of this.
Yeah, we have been trying for, like I said, I've been on council for 11 and a half years, and we've been trying for 11 and a half years. Some of the other things that we fight is that because that's a state highway, any sign or light has to be approved by the state.
Mhm.
So, I don't know, Stillman.
I could offer some thoughts on this.
Oh.
So you talked about the flashing crossings. Those are called
Mhm.
RRFBs, or rapid reflector flashing beacons.
You guys did this.
It's, yeah. Did we do that?
Yeah.
Okay. If that's something you're interested in, I can't remember how much we've talked about this before, but LTAC has a $30,000 grant that you can get to help
That's
pay
what
for
I've done
those.
too. Yep.
Yep, and you could get at least 2 crossings out of one
Even if we
grant.
just had one, like over on
Yeah.
Fourth, I mean, because I've watched kids try,
Mhm.
start out 3 or 4 times because we just live up from the pizza bank. And a few times I've almost went down to help them cross because I just feel, worried about them. So I think it would be great if we could do that. I mean, and I'm more than happy to help with anything.
Yeah.
With
I,
any type of petition, we would be happy.
Is that something that you might be able to help with,
I
Eric?
can try, yeah.
And
well,
maybe get with Stillman, maybe Stillman could help us out too?
We do these all the time. The applications are due typically in November.
okay.
So.
That'd be great. Yeah, I just saw that the Idaho Transportation Board's meeting in Lewiston on the 17th and 18th of September too. So I didn't know if that was even necessary or if we can just do paperwork and submit it.
Yeah, just paperwork and submit it. Pretty sure we got the same grant for Kendrick to do a crossing at the school.
Yeah, I mean, because we're happy to walk down from Third to Fourth and cross safely. I mean, that's the only
Right.
reason we're out walking
We're fine
anyways.
going around.
It's just. to
Well, and
have
if we
that-
can get 2, then I would love to
Yeah,
get
we
2.
can get 2.
So, I wonder if this has to be an official, like, do we have to have a agenda item as a action item to move forward with this, or is this something that we can just, like, is this something that a citizen can do, or does the council actually have to approve this? I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, it would be sponsored by the city, so you're gonna have to do the application, or it's gonna have to look like it comes
Yeah.
from the city.
Okay, so that, and you said the application is,
It's typically due in November. It's to LTAC, the Local Highway Technical Assistance Council, I think is what it stands for. But anyhow, they're typically due in November, and then we don't find out the funding results until I think it's February.
so, because it's not an action item on our agenda tonight, I would ask the clerk to put it on our agenda for October as an action item to move forward with the LTAC grant.
Okay.
And then council can vote. So if you guys want to come back in October, I see what happens, but I'm pretty sure that the council probably feels the same way. We just got to have
Right.
it all official.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. And if I can help at all with the paperwork, I'm happy to. I've done some of those before, so.
Mayor, if I could, I
Yes.
actually, and I used to be really against this idea, but I would actually like to try to pursue another time moving it to 25. I mean, I know that's not the end all,
Right.
be all solution.
Yeah,
So,
In the meantime, though, if you go down by the post office, I think that's the safest way to cross this highway.
over
Okay,
this
on
one here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then go
Yeah.
down to Water Street and down would probably be your safer
Okay.
bet, just FYI.
just
So-
line of sight.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
can see,
right, 'cause-
yeah,
Yeah.
I know we kind of noticed that too, right?
So are you planning on going to the meeting in Lewiston?
No, I mean, no, I'm actually out of town over those dates, so.
So Cheyenne, if you could give me who our contact or Justin, if you know the contact at ITD. Then I
Terry
would-
Osborne, he's our District 2 and he's out of Troy.
Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to email them and see if we can get another
stab at it.
Right.
another traffic
Yeah,
study going
that
or
would be
something.
great.
Yeah,
Well, and it
So-
was kind of weird on the traffic study, and maybe you can speak to this, but it said the traffic was 2,800, like, all across all the years, but yet the population has increased, so, I don't know if that's,
A little suspect.
yeah.
and while we're at it too, I'm not sure the way everybody parks is completely compliant around the corners. I mean,
Yeah.
I know we have businesses and they're trying to get up and running and it's, and I don't want to hinge on them at all, but there are, we might look into possibly I would suggest, what we could do to maybe move people just off those corners a little so people can
Just
see
a little.
around from
Mhm.
pedestrians and so forth.
And I think 25 is great because, I mean, there are more businesses now and they're trying to get the community events going. And I
Yep.
think that's great, but there's a lot of people out milling around. And then once the cars are parked, those lanes are really
They're awful.
narrow, right? To be going 35, let
Yeah.
alone 40 if people are speeding.
Yeah, I live down below and I usually come up this way anymore because it's just not worth.
Okay.
You only have seconds to look. And just
Right.
for the record, there actually was a very long time community member named Ollie before all these businesses was down, and he got killed
Yep, 2014. I
on
saw
our
that
street.
too.
Yeah.
And he was, dude, he was a great guy. Had a metal plate in his head. Always talk about it. Anyway, yeah, real sad. Real sad.
You might take pictures of the street when it's all full. Where the
Okay.
grass-
It was what?
When the
Yeah,
street's
good
all
idea.
full.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you have something, Clifford?
No.
Oh, fuck.
Let's tell him about when Oli got run.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Very
Yeah.
sad. Very sad.
I don't know if I can speak for the whole council, but I do appreciate you bringing this up
Yeah.
to us, and we will try again. Like I said, we've been trying for a lot of years, and hopefully we can get the LTAC grant and get some at least flashing lights and
Yeah.
make some progress.
I can vouch that the mayor back when the council for years was leading this charge for a very long time. So when I was against it, I was like, oh, we don't do that. I was wrong. I was wrong.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Yep,
We'll,
thank you.
See you next month.
Okay, Daughters Against,
Oh,
okay, sorry. Daughters. Yeah, wrong meeting. My apologies. Daughters of the American Revolution, you're up. Sorry about that.
He's new to the job.
Of the American Revolution.
Yes.
I'm Jane Weber, I live in Kendrick. But we had somebody who was a little closer to Juliet who couldn't make it tonight, so it's pinch hitting. So all we were asking, if you know anything about Constitution Week, the Constitution of the United States was signed on September 17th in 1787. So it's a federal proclamation every year that September 17th to 23rd is Constitution Week. And Daughters of the American Revolution nationwide tries to get that publicized more locally as well. And I don't know the history here. I've only been in it for a year here. If you've ever done this before, but I think maybe the chapter meets down in Lewiston, and I think maybe they've just done it with Lewiston and Clarkston up until now. And this year they're trying to broaden out to, there's like all the 18 different communities around the area that where a lot of us live, not just in the valley. So so we'd appreciate it if it's just it's a symbolic thing, but it's a nice gesture to just proclaim that, this is Constitution Week and everybody ought to kind of remember that, this is a unique institution that we have, and it's the longest running constitution in the world, and we ought to kind of celebrate it.
Well, Mayor, I could say as a veteran, and there's no document more important that up there with the Magna Carta. So I think this is awesome, and I would definitely vote in favor of that.
Well, can you move to make it
I
happen?
move to make. Want to give my fellow councilman a chance. Anyway, I move to approve the proclamation for Constitution Week, September 17th to the 23rd.
Have a second?
A second.
Motion, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Motion passes. Do I need to?
Mayor, Jane did ask if you could make that now,
Okay.
and we could do a quick photo.
Yes.
She's got to hit the road.
Yep. So I just
Can you?
Yeah, I can do it.
photo of me signing it, me up there, what?
You with me if we could?
Okay,
Or
yeah.
I can come to you.
No, I can come up there. Let me sign it real quick.
Flags in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right up here in front.
You can get out of the way here.
Yeah, right. I don't need to see in your background here. Photoshop that. Perfect.
You want to put that soft so they see it?
Hey now, you're in it, Amanda. Jeez, get me out of it. All right, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. You're in.
Right.
Well, you're good.
Yeah,
they can do the AI.
I'm like.
And you look at some of them going.
If that works. Perfect, okay.
Sure, write my email up there, or you've
I
got.
can send it to you.
Or-
If that works.
Perfect, thank you.
Hey,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, James.
Utilize Photoshop to get us out of that.
Thank you.
Okay, Stillman, you're up.
Okay. I have a little bit of an update on your flash beacons. I've been chatting with my transportation engineer on Teams, and he clarified that we did apply for that in Kendrick, but the current regime at District 2 hates them. And so they put a blockade on doing that in Kendrick, and so what we actually put in there was a radar sign
Oh,
that detects speed, and that does encourage folks to slow down. I think what it does is it will display their speed and it will kind of strobe.
we
light.
have one at each end of town already.
Yeah, that's what I thought, and so that's all that they would probably allow.
Can we change it to 25?
I know, yeah.
I will still reach out to them to see if we can get another traffic study, at least get working on getting the speed limit, see if what we can do about that.
That would be great. And there's also another woman that we can reach out to. She's actually in charge of Idaho Safety, Josephine Middleton, Idaho Traffic Safety Commission. She's the highway safety manager. I don't know if we can maybe get her support,
Right, considering we're the only one at 35.
right?
It's ridiculous.
It's,
It's
It's a
ridiculous.
big,
yeah.
it's a big 10 miles per hour.
We might even call Dan Foreman. He's the senator,
Okay.
state senator. He's involved, I think he's involved in the Idaho Department of Transportation. I had to deal with it when I was looking up signs myself.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, send some emails. See if
Okay.
we can all-
We'll make some contacts on our end too and see if there's anything we can do to help you out there.
Thanks, Dylan.
I don't know why they're doing that, but we've got some good relationships there, so.
Thank you.
Let's see if we
Thank
can- And we have an engineer that used to work at ITD that works for us now, so. Anyhow, you wanted me to talk about rates.
Yeah, so I wanted you to talk about rates, and then the next is the amendment. So I wanted to make sure that if council had any questions on the amendment.
Good. So regarding your rates, this is probably more just kind of a refresher for most, and then maybe kind of new information for folks that are maybe back on the council from not having been here. Jeff, I think you used to be on the council before, didn't you? I know your face from past councils, so that's what I was thinking. But your total project cost for the wastewater treatment plant is about $12.2 million. Of that, $750,000 is the only amount that is a loan that you will have at the end of the project. The rest of it is all grant, and none of that has to be paid back. So that's the good news. And that loan will be a 40-year loan with 1.5% interest. And your annual payment on that will be, I think it's just a little over $25,000 per year. So I think it's $25,070 if I'm not mistaken. And so that first payment usually isn't due until about a year after the project is finished. The project is, is really just kind of gotten underway this summer and isn't scheduled to be completed until about the end of next year. And so I would anticipate that your first payment would come either at the end of 2027 or the beginning of 2028. And so your first priority is to make sure you have enough in the bank to make that first payment. Does that mean you have to jump all the way up to a higher rate immediately to get there? No, because you're already strategically increasing your rate. Hopefully that's allowing you to put some money away in reserves for that first payment and maybe even some future payments. If you're looking at just the amount of rates that you need or dollars per month per user to fund that $25,000 payment per year, it's about $7 per user, assuming 298 accounts. That's the last number that I had when I did the calculations for you. If you have more than that, then it would be less per user. If you have less than that, it would be more per user. So I think what we calculated, a couple of other things for background. When you do a USDA loan, some of the things they want you to do is to have a 10% reserve in your account, 10% of your loan payment. So that means that they want to make sure that you have about $2,500 of money that you're not budgeting for anything else. It's just there just in case. And then they also want you to have what they call a short-lived assets reserve. That's a reserve that gets to be used by Justin and his staff so that if a pump goes out in 10 years, and some pumps can if they're used, if they're maybe less energy efficient and they need to use more power. Sometimes pumps can fail at 10 years, sometimes 15 years. And so this is just a reserve to take care of some of those things that aren't going to last 20, 30 plus years. And so when we did this calculation back when we were doing funding applications for you, we had calculated that you should have a short-lived assets reserve of about $62,333 per year. Not everybody does this. It's wise to do it, and it's something that you should do, and it's something that USDA wants you to do. But I know I've had this conversation before with the mayor and the council that these are decisions that the council has to make. And so if you were to fund the 10% reserve, your short-lived assets, your new annual bond payment of $25,070, and where we were previously calculating your O&M, which is about $109,000 per year before the improvements. I don't know if it's increased since then. I think the last time we calculated this was 2 years ago. So if it's gone up above $109,000 for the sewer utility, then you would increase that as well. And then the additional O&M, because you have more energy using equipment at your plant when we're done, is about 45,000. So all of those all together would indicate that you, at some point in the future, are probably going to need to be at a rate somewhere around $69 per user. But like we said last time, this is something that if you're using strategy, which I know this council is, you can push that number off further into the future. So it doesn't have to be something that you have today, for instance. You just have to make sure that you have enough to make your annual bond payments. And you need to make sure that you are hopefully able to put away some reserves for some of these other things that we talked about. So any questions?
Well,
Do you good?
and I think that we had decided to raise it X amount of dollars per every 6 months to get to that by the time our first payment was due, so we didn't have to jump everybody's rate $70 right at the last year, just to bring the rest of council up to where we're at.
Well, thank you. I was gonna ask, where are we at now? Where are we at for like the 69 per user? Are we?
So I think we've upped it once or twice, but we're scheduled to up it
We were
here,
supposed to do it last July.
and we
didn't,
Okay.
Yep.
because I was step filling in.
So we had
it's
a
been
rough
year.
year with
Okay.
It
turnover in the
hasn't been
office.
raised at all.
So sewer is currently sitting at $47.85.
So we do need to increase that. And it
50
was,
cents, or it was a small.
we'll look back and see, because we passed an ordinance of how much to do that. But we also have some other options of how we're going to try and use our money to make money, so we don't have to raise it so much. I just wanted to kind of get an update of where we're at, because I know that things got delayed with all of that big mess, but glad to see we're moving forward.
But just to reiterate, we're looking at nearly a $20 increase. Not saying that we don't have ideas on how to do it, but we're at about $20 deficit of what you're suggesting.
Which is, like I said, not a number that you have to, your first payment it's a little over 2 years out. So
Yeah. That's why we're trying to increase it slowly.
and
Yeah.
if you have enough in reserves leading up to that point, you could push this total amount that you need to be at even further in the future.
Okay. Okay.
So that's part of the reason that raising the rates now is a good thing, and then not finding new ways to spend it. And then you'll have a nice reserve, and it could stave off needing to increase those rates up to that higher amount until maybe a few more years in the future.
Quick question on that, if I may. So other than our regular fee go up over time, inflation, so forth, is there anything beyond 69 for this project that people should expect ultimately, if that does in fact be the number?
Yeah. Other than inflation, no.
Right, okay,
Yeah. So I'm glad you said inflation,
Yeah.
because that's the first thing I was gonna say.
okay.
And hopefully you're, giving your staff raises and things like that over the years, and all of that stuff plays into it.
Okay.
So, yep.
Okay.
Clifford, you have to be sold. You can't, don't give me.
Does anybody else have any questions for Stillman? Okay.
Everything's going good over there from your end?
So far, yeah, you have a really good contractor.
Okay,
And like I've said to you before, this contractor, we've worked with them on 2 major projects in the area now, Lewiston and Clarkston, and on both projects, they found ways to save money. And they saved both cities millions of dollars.
Okay.
And so, hopefully they can find some new things on this one too, where they're just thinking of new and different ways. If they do, they will let us know, and we'll certainly let you know. And, but we do know that they do good work.
good.
Okay. So the next is, request council to authorize the mayor to sign the, amendment to the wastewater treatment plant agreement. So this was because we kind of got delayed on the original startup, correct, Stillman?
Yeah, so there was a few things that I outlined in
Has everybody had a chance to look at this?
my email. So there's a few things. So there was an issue with the benchmarks for surveying that were established during the design phase. When the contractor went out to go find them, they were gone. Not sure, sometimes it's just somebody kicking them out of the ground. They don't know what it is. Kids having fun, whatever. So that happened and they couldn't find them. And so they needed to have us reset those. It was better for us to have our surveyor do it because our surveyor did the design survey. But then from this point on, we want them to use their own surveyor for construction staking so that the liability is on them if they screw something up on elevation. And so anyhow, we had to do that. In the interest of not holding up the contractor, we just did it. So hopefully you guys were okay with that. And then, yes, because of the delay in construction, we were originally budgeted as if construction was going to start in January. As you know, there were some delays that were outside of all of our control. But those were eventually resolved and then construction started in July. So because of that, we were asking to increase based on raises that we're going to be giving our employees over the duration of the project. And then just the additional efforts in helping with the whole legal side of things. So I included that as well. What we're asking for comes out of the grant funds that you have on this project. It does not increase the loan amount. And even after using that, you still have the contingency on this project is about $1.6 million, which is a nice, healthy percentage of your construction, where your construction budget is about 8.7 million. So we would just be using a very small amount of that.
Any other questions?
So we need a motion.
Yep.
I motion to authorize the mayor to sign the amendment to the WWTP agreement.
Do I have a second?
Second.
The move in a second, all in favor? Motion passes. So I just sign above my name.
Yes, please. And then I think you have to date there as well. I know this isn't on the agenda, but maybe I can just talk briefly about the slope stabilization thing, or do you want to
Oh,
reserve that for?
No,
another
go
time?
right ahead. That'd be great.
Because it's not on the agenda, I know that nothing can be approved at this time, but Justin asked us after I think our last construction meeting, or one of the last construction meetings, there was a concern with the slope bank next to your main baseball field.
Mhm.
So we went down and looked at it, and it certainly has eroded over the years. It looks like they've already done at some point in the past, they did some slope stabilization there by laying down rock and then kind of gluing it together with concrete. And that has still taken its toll because, as you know, the river takes a sharp turn there. Whenever you make a river make a sharp turn, it's going to erode the banks. And so he asked what we could do to maybe help the city out with that so that you don't lose your ball field. And so the first thing that we would suggest is looking at some alternatives. We also have been looking in the meantime, I haven't had a chance to update Justin on this, but working with different agencies to see if we can get it funded for you as well. And so we've reached out to two different agencies, and I'm trying to remember the name of them. It's the Palouse Clearwater Environmental Institute was very interested in helping out with this project. And then I think the other one was the Nez Perce Conservation District. I can't remember if that's what the second one was called. But we're talking with both of them, and they both want to work together to help get this project done. And so one of the things that I sent to Justin was kind of a draft scope and fee for us to at least evaluate some alternatives, put some costs together so that you can select your alternative. We would want to coordinate that with these agencies because, they're going to help fund it, hopefully. And then, once that's selected, then we would work with these agencies to get funding to do a design for it that can be bid out to a contractor. And it's kind of urgent, so, hopefully we can move along at a pretty quick pace here and have something in place sooner rather than later. So that's all I wanted to update on that, unless Justin had anything else you wanted me to talk about there.
Can you explain the corrosion control, situation as well?
Yes, on the corrosion control, for your water system, we're looking at your water quality data right now. I have a meeting with, my primary water treatment, engineer, later this week. But we're looking into, the report that you would need to submit back to DEQ so that they're satisfied that that's taken care of. So we're working on that. We notified DEQ that we're working with the city to resolve this, and so they said, just keep us updated. And so that's what we're doing. So I don't have much more to report than that unless you,
Well, I think just to clarify what it is,
Oh,
we
yes.
may need to order or add more chemicals
Yep.
to our water treatment. So we want to make sure those chemicals are safe and effective, and so it has to be an engineered solution, and so DEQ is mandating that we do this, so that's where this is coming from.
yeah,
basically.
in their notice, they did require that you work with a licensed engineer to come up with a solution. And our initial thoughts are you might have to introduce some additional chemical to, this would be to address lead and copper in your system. So
So the ball field stuff, is that something that we should probably have on our October agenda?
I think so. Yeah, once Justin's had a chance to look at it, we'll have a little bit more information from the, Palouse. I gotta have it on here, Palouse Clearwater Environmental Institute and the Nez Perce Conservation District. See if we can provide a little bit more info on what we need to do to get them more involved and hopefully procure some funding for this. Because I'm assuming you don't just have a slope stabilization fund sitting in the city somewhere. So that's why we immediately started reaching out to folks to see if we could get it funded.
We appreciate that.
I do have a question about that.
Point of order, Mayor. I don't believe we can discuss this until it's on the agenda.
Okay, sorry about
No.
No,
that.
I think you can tell us, but I don't think
Oh, okay.
council can discuss it.
Okay.
Discuss it at all.
I don't believe so.
October it is, I'll get you on.
So with the chemicals, would that be, what, should we have that on October as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think by then, hopefully we know what all our next steps are and yeah.
So if you have if you're ready for that, Justin, just have
Okay.
Cheyenne put that on October, and then we'll just discuss the rest in October.
So I'll just plan on being here for that council meeting too.
Okay.
Do you know what date that is at the time?
It would be the 14th.
October 14th. I won't be trick or treating, so that's.
I'll have candy here for you anyway.
Thank you, Stellan.
I think that's all I have, so.
Thank you. Okay, so now we've passed the budget and done all of that. Now we have to adopt the ordinance for the budget. And suspending the rules means that it's read by title only instead of having to have Cheyenne or read it 3 times. So.
But we gave her that pay increase, we gotta get some.
Mr. Mayor, if I can make a motion to review and adopt ordinance 2025-01 FY 2026 appropriation ordinance, suspend the rules and read ordinance by title only.
I second. I second.
So can you read the, all in favor? Okay, so then you gotta read the title.
Oh, I need it from you then.
And then after that, we'll have to roll call vote to actually pass the ordinance. So this is just to, suspend the rules.
Okay, so this is ordinance number 25 or 2025-01, fiscal year 2026 appropriations ordinance. Right?
Mhm.
Is that all I'm doing?
That first paragraph, I think is all you gotta read.
Oh, okay. An ordinance entitled the Annual Appropriation Ordinance for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025, appropriating the sum of $14,501,000 $597 to defray the expense and liabilities of the city of Julietta for said fiscal year, authorizing a levy of a sufficient tax upon the taxable property and specifying the objects and purposes for which said appropriation is made.
Okay, so then I apologize. Now we'll need a motion to pass the ordinance. So the first motion was just to suspend the rules.
I'll
Sorry.
make a motion to adopt.
Yes.
2025-01.
Yeah,
I second.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Roll call vote, Jeff,
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Mark?
Yes.
Eric?
I,
Okay. All right, so the next one is Cassell to absorb, not, Cassell for the city to absorb the community portal credit card fees. So I asked Cheyenne to do some research for us. So if we pass it on to our citizens, then it's gonna be, was it 3.9%? And if the city absorbs it, because we'll be doing a larger amount, then they cut us a deal at 2.75%. So I think it was, our water income was 7,462 last month. So if we were to absorb that, it would only be $210, correct? Yep.
Plus there's a 10 cent per transaction. So for the 49 transactions in August, times 10 cents, it'd be $4.90.
Yeah, so about $215 for us to absorb it for our citizens.
So ultimately, the citizens are gonna pay for it, but I do think it would be, no matter what, but I do think it would be in the best interest of the city to absorb this personally.
I think with making it easier for people to pay online and doing, because they can do paperless billing once we get this all set up if they want, that's gonna save stamps, postcards, Cheyenne's time. Any other thoughts from?
I'm kind of mixed on it. Like, I agree that it would probably encourage, use of the system. I just want to make sure, like, when we're considering raising rates and stuff, that, being business minded, you cover your costs. Like I said, the citizens are paying for it. It's just with Cassell, we've added, which I know it frees up all time and everything. That'll put us at over $800 a month, and fees that we've added that might not have been budgeted for. So it's just something to keep in mind, in my opinion. It makes life easier, but it does come at a cost.
Speaking of which, if I may, is this something we could visit later to maybe change that if we needed to, if we came into a shortfall or what, anything like that?
Yeah, I spoke with Cassell about that and they're able to make that swap later down the road if we need to.
I mean,
So
that's
we
a
can
great
swap
point.
either way.
The bigger picture too is we only have one person working in the office and we're saving a lot of money in salaries and benefits. So this is a small cost to that. We're still getting big savings by doing this.
Personally, I know Amanda's point though, that we want to be business minded, but I do believe that this would be the right thing to do. And pass this savings on to the citizen.
Yeah, I agree. This is the amount of money, I mean, we'll probably never know that, but the amount of money and time it will save mailing stuff. Damn. I know it will save me writing the one check a month. I don't want to pay that darn 3%. I'm all for it, but that's selfishly. But no, I think it will, to Derek's point, we're down to one person. She needs as much free time as she can get, and I think that savings will offset that easily.
Now, there was a one-time fee for,
I don't think it's a one-time fee. I think just using the ACH feature.
which is the
Is that where, that's
the
where
check thing, right?
Yeah,
So if they use it, if they pay by check.
I think it's if you connect your bank. Right, is that how ACH works?
I think so. I think it's a bank to bank
Yeah,
transfer.
because I know that the portal allows you to save your bank information and link your bank account, not just a credit card or a debit card. So if you link your bank, it's $1.10 per transaction, but that shakes out to be a less percentage than if you were paying with a debit or credit card.
So that would also be what we're covering as well, right? Or is that what not what we're covering?
Yes,
Yeah,
if,
we
yeah,
would
if
be,
a resident decided to go the ACH route
And we
rather
would-
than using a debit or credit card.
we would be absorbing that fee as well.
Yes, which that fee will be less than if they were to use a debit or credit card. So Cassell strongly encourages residents to use the ACH option because $1.10 on $138 utility payment bill,
Right.
I think that percentage is less than the 2.75.
And
So
so
I'm sorry, you go ahead.
the 210 was set on the 2.75, so it might even be a little bit less.
Just to clarify, is the ACH, is that automatic payment or is that just any ACH transfer? Does that automatically imply that they're gonna have an automatic payment to the city?
No, I think they just go in and click pay, and then it just goes
Gotcha.
from their bank account versus them having to put their credit card or debit card in every
Yeah.
time.
But
Gotcha.
Mark, I do think you're right, though. I think they can set it up to where it's an automatic thing each month as well. You could probably have it to where you can manually do it
Okay.
if you're not comfortable with the automatic. And then also just to note that with using figures from August, of course, that has been our highest billing month because people's water bills are higher. So the 2.75% on, a higher bill is going to be us absorbing more than say if we were to be absorbing fees in December when everyone in theory isn't watering their yard and their base rate is back to the normal 55.12. So winter months, our absorption will probably be less than if you were comparing to say August or July.
Well, if you guys are ready, I motion to, let the city absorb the community portal credit card service fee.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Just moved and seconded. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Okay. So, we did, I've been in contact I've emailed computer doctors a couple times on the cameras, but they have not got back to me. So we did at least get the internet quotes. So go ahead and pass those around. The TDS it'll be 49 per the water plant, 49 for here, which we already pay for here, and then 49 for the sewer plant, but they just gotta check to see if we can get fiber down there at the sewer plant. So the sewer plant can be added at a later time. And the water plant is already pre-wired for fiber. And so here's a couple things from Spectrum. When I talked to them the other day, they originally started out at 100 for City Hall, and then I think it says 80 for here and 80 for the water plant and 80 for the fire station and the sewer plant. When I talked to him on the phone, he realized that we have to have the static IP address for each one of those to do the cameras. So then it's 140 a piece, and then it comes out to 420, and then there's some more of their different rates.
And what do we have now? We have TDS here.
We have TDS here. Yep.
And how is the internet here?
I haven't had any issues with it.
It's for 500 up and 50 down.
500 up and 500 down.
Oh, 500 up.
TDS.
Yep. So right now we're at
250 and 50.
250 and 50. So this is going to increase our internet speed here.
Oh, good.
Is having the internet at both the water treatment plant and sewer treatment plant gonna help?
Eventually, when Stillman's team gets the program wrote for the new SCADA system at the sewer plant, I mean, I don't know if we'll have a choice. I think we'll have to have internet at that point. But they're also writing the program for the water plant, and the two can talk to each other, and it will all be,
So the internet will be useful for that?
yeah, it'll be useful for that, for us monitoring, and it'll also be useful for cameras. The TDS salesperson said we don't have to have an IP address, that the cameras will just connect and go onto the internet, the Amazon cameras that you get.
Did you look at a quote for that by chance?
Well, the ones that Brian and I bought 2 years ago it was only $32 for 2 cameras, and we still have one on the library now. That's
Okay.
working.
Nice, okay, yeah, you mentioned
So, and
that.
those are the ones that you can zoom, you can turn around like that one, you can turn around and go up and down and they work at night.
And we could recycle that one, or are you saying?
We're gonna have to recycle that one because the library won't be there. So
Gotcha, okay.
we're either gonna put it on City Hall to watch Main Street, maybe at this intersection, or we could recycle it for the water plant. Either way.
Mayor, since the words possibly cameras is on here, we can add that too, right? We can motion for that, right?
Well, I mean, you can't, but I think we should have a quote from 4 Cameras. That's just my suggestion, but
Right.
We'll go with it.
And I did reach out to First Step, and like I told the mayor earlier, and Mark, they have not gotten back to me about providing it. And then I also found out it's not as secure if it's wireless, so.
For me, I know last meeting, discussing like the ability to branch out and everything compatible. Once I got home and reflected again on all the Cassell, monthly add-ons that we've done, to me, right now, having cameras and Wi-Fi at the water plant doesn't make fiscal sense to me. That if you're wanting, because the idea of people being on the trail, we could probably do that with trail cameras and be a lot cheaper. And then in a year when the plant is up and running, to me, that makes more sense looking at it then and doing it all at once, because that's gonna be hundreds of dollars every month that we don't need right now. When we have a low-tech option that we could just put in some trail cams for now. That's just my thought once I got home and digested.
If I may, and I appreciate that, your input on that. I believe that if you did a poll door to door to the town and you asked, should we have cameras where we process our water? Pretty sure we'd have about a 99.9% return of, heck yeah, why don't you already? That's just my opinion. Trail or no trail, and of course I have disclosed I definitely want them on the trail, but I think I also would very much like them really in every city facility if it had my way, but definitely where we process our water.
And if I could just address that issue, is I personally hate being videoed. I don't like being surveyed everywhere I go. And so I agree that if it's inside the building or security around, that makes sense to me. But to put them up again to surveil the trail and people, like I don't want to be videoed when I'm on my walk.
What's the
Again,
difference
that's-
between that doing that and a trail cam though? I don't understand.
Well, because a trail cam's just a still shot. Like it might be multiple, but
Actually,
it's
technically
not.
all video is still shots, but anyway.
So again, I don't want to, I just don't like the idea of everywhere we go, it's being surveilled anymore. And if it's not necessary, that's just my opinion. Again. Eric? Okay.
I definitely see both sides. We obviously are gonna have to start budgeting for it probably next fiscal year just to get ready for the sewer plant and stuff. Like I said, I do see both sides. Thankfully, decision is up to you guys.
Skip one. I mean, not red and fence, you guys both make, no, but I mean, I personally, I'm a body cam all the time, so I don't worry about getting videoed like it's my life, so. If it's in public, somebody's probably videoing you anyway, so I see where you're coming from, and it's like, sure, but if it's public. Somebody can stand there and video you while you're walking down the levee, there's nothing you can do about it, but I understand where you're coming from mine. I'm not so worried about the levee, I do get a little tired of some people riding on vehicles that they're not supposed to, and I know Lake County doesn't control it enough, but, my big thing is I do think we need it, for security on our water plants. With the way the world is today, and fortunately, yes, for Julietta, and probably not a hard target, but, there's that potential. My big concern, I guess, right now would be is, we talked about putting it at the new, or with the wastewater planters, and then we'd have to put fiber maybe to there, and then that's more additional costs.
So we do have a couple options, more likely with the down there because I believe Spectrum goes that way, so it might be able to go aerial or, and I don't know if TDS has it on that side. Justin and I did not ask them. Stillman, so having to have internet to run our plant, is that something that can come out of the grant money if we have anything left over? As far as if we have to pay to get it in there?
Yeah, if it's at the wastewater plant, yes, we could do that.
Right.
I'm pretty confident the USDA would be okay with that, but I don't know that they'll let us spend any like over at the water plant.
Right. Well, so we already have fiber at the water plant.
Yeah.
So our concern is if we have to drill under the highway to get fiber over there for to the sewer plant.
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable ask, especially since we need to have your new plant connected to the internet anyways. Just so that folks know, the reason for that is so that your operators will be alarmed better, like they'll be aware of the alarms more than what they are now. The way some of these older plants work, that they do have alarms, sometimes they have auto dialers, so it'll just call them. They don't know what the issue is until they get down to the plant. With this new plant, they will be able to check that wherever they're at and know what it is, and it'll be a lot easier for them to respond to the problem.
So one thing I'm just going to throw out, my one recommendation is if something that we can think about is if we're not wanting to do it now, then definitely want to plan for it next fiscal year. You know, I think that there might be a way to look at the budget to see if we can squeeze it somewhere. But I definitely see Amanda's point and I see Mark's point. So I'm just saying that if for some reason, however it plays out tonight, definitely want to be thinking about it for next fiscal year. Yeah.
You know, two other concerns that I have is one, we're gonna need to come up with some type of a retention policy. Because if we get public records requests and things like that, so that's gonna be additional cost because the city of Lewiston is putting cameras on all their, I mean, they got them everywhere because they're protecting their buildings. But yeah, there is a, you know, you have to have a retention period that you have to keep them. You can't just be like 7 days. I don't know if there's a state law, but there are those recommendations, so we'd have to have some type of retention period. And then the other could be is who's gonna have access to those cameras? Who can see what's going on? Is it going to be city council? Is it gonna be you? It's gonna be Joe? It's gonna be, I mean, that's kind of a big thing because, I mean, there's the privacy concerns and everything else. And I think that's something that really needs to be thoroughly researched, is like who should have access to it. You know, we have like, you know, I have like an IT, well, yeah, Joe.
Yeah.
And that's good. But like, you know, see, like, so they have a whole ISS team. There's a huge policy on who can access the cameras and why, and you have to do requests through the internet and so, so I'm not opposed to getting them, but I think we need to lay some groundwork for when we do get them about all of that. How long we're required to keep them, because that may be part of like, we talked about, you know, whether it's gonna be server-based cloud storage, because that
Right.
usually increases, but cloud storage, you don't have to worry about server filling up or overriding stuff. And then there's also, you know, if there is a crime, can we just give it to the police? Do they have to make a request for it? There's just a lot of things that go, once you have it, all the things of
Right.
who can have it, who can see it, why do they need to see it, how is that tracked? Like, a lot of,
That's a good
So-
point.
lot of variables there.
So one thing that I would say is for now, for this meeting, we would should probably take the cameras off the table because we don't have a quote. That would give us time to find out from Todd what we would be, you know, looking at for stuff like that, like with the very good points that Jeff brought up. So basically right now, the internet would just be for Justin and Joe to see what's going on at the plant. So if we wanted to try and tie it with the cameras, then I would definitely wait till we get some information from Todd on the policies, but that's my opinion. So, but we could move forward with the internet if wanted, or Yes, Mark.
I'd like to follow up with that too, please. I think that's a very good point. I would like to be on the agenda, please, for next month about specifically the cameras. I hope we can find out information on that. I do appreciate this being a priority this month. I would like to say too, we have had many residents come in here. They've spoken to the sheriff's department, their frustrations, including the trail. And the number one thing the sheriff's department says, get video.
Yeah.
Get the video. So we have made assurances to our public many times, and for us not to follow through on this very simple thing, I believe, would be basically lied to them. And I don't want to do that. So if I may please get on the agenda, and I'm going to push forward with this. I respect your opinion. I would love to debate with you next month on it.
Well, and I don't think because we can still talk about the internet if we want to move forward with that, or if you want to all wait till. we
Oh, no,
get all
no,
the
I
other
intended a
stuff.
motion for that.
My question with going forward with the internet is, so we have TDS down there, or is it
We-
Spectrum? But
Well, we don't
know-
have anything down there right now. We know that
Right, but
TDS
like it's
did
there.
wire. Yeah, both options are available there for sure.
And so it's not like gonna cost us a fortune to add it,
No,
but we
it's all
don't know
pre-wired.
what's
Yeah, we don't know
possible.
what's possible there yet.
Okay.
But like Stillman said, we might be able to use some of the grant money to get internet to there because it will be required for running our facility.
Now, if we go forward with TDS, do they require a contract? Would we be locked in like for a year or something to do TDS?
I think it's just
Once you
it's
sign
just
up for
adding
internet?
to our, it's just adding to our service right
I
now.
mean,
So
it's
it's
like
just
a cell phone bill, like we're gonna be locked into a
Yeah,
contract because we
I
added.
didn't talk with TDS. I know with Spectrum, it's month to month. So if we were to add on services with them, then we could cancel at any time.
These are
I
great
imagine
questions.
that, and TDS might be the same, because normally with, like with mine at my house, I know businesses are different. You
Oh,
can
yeah,
just,
that's what I'm
yeah,
thinking, like
yeah.
business, they just like to.
But I didn't think it
Yeah.
said anything in either of the quotes on, like a contract, right?
No, Spectrum was adamant that there are no contracts.
Can we please talk to Todd between now and the next meeting? And,
Yeah.
And I'd actually like to hear what Eric has to think.
I think it's a good idea to put the internet in, because the cameras, I think the cameras eventuality, it's gonna happen anyways. People are wanting it. Because lots of people complain about vehicles shenanigans on the trail, so we need to do something about it.
And dogs loose,
And dogs.
and people, no leashes, things like that.
Yeah, so I think it's a good idea.
If you guys don't have any more, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion for the internet. I will hold off for next month on the camera idea.
You got to say which company.
I actually make a motion for TDS. I think the city already has a relationship with them and it makes sense.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? All opposed?
All right, that's what I like.
Ah, wow.
He thought he could get out of it.
Hybrid.
Wow.
And can I add?
Sure.
My reason to vote no at this time, if we're gonna go through it, to me, it doesn't make sense to pay for internet if we don't have cameras. It's an added expense that we're not ready to move forward. Why pay for internet if we have no reason to have the internet yet for the cameras? So right now, that is why my vote would be no.
I'd like to follow up with that. So we've held this up now going on 2 months then, if we went down that path. And I would like to show the public that we're not, this unable to get it done. We've discussed it for 2 meetings. It's actually technically that we gave the mayor the budget to run the city. He could have just done this. And I'd actually like to ask Todd about that question. He's actually granting us this, whatever it is. I actually kind of don't even agree with it, to say, okay, what do you guys think? So I would like to take at least one step. I respect what Jeff thought of about the policy. I agree with that. But I believe we need to take a step. That's why I voted for it.
Okay, so I want to ask Justin and Joe, because right now the internet would just be affecting them with no cameras. So if you guys have the internet, what's that going to do for you until we figure out the camera situation? What benefits is the internet going to provide to you at the water plant?
Not enough to make it worth the money. Honestly.
I kind of agree with Joe. At the moment, we've got internet on our phones, like
what we need to do with
Right.
our phones.
Yeah, but we could reuse that camera on the library. I did pay for 7-day storage
But it's an internet-based camera, right?
if we got internet,
Right.
but where would we point it and all the time? Or, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but it is possible to connect that one. So,
Well, I am going to side with Jeff and Amanda on this just until we can get more information for the cameras. We just do it all one fell swoop. I do see Mark and Eric's point. I just feel like if we can do it all at once, it's going to be a lot more beneficial, and we can probably get some maybe stuff figured out by October.
Well, let's let it be known who actually gets things done up here.
So the next, this is on, when we put, the next meeting, is it the camera and the internet?
Camera and the internet both again. So that way there we make sure, because we want to make sure that everything matches, and
Yeah.
I do see your guys' point, and I admire your dedication to this, Mark. I just want to make sure that we are kind of getting everything all lined out, because if we just get internet and we can't afford the cameras right now, then so, okay. Okay, so the next one is the P1FCU certificate. So this certificate is coming due on, it will mature on 9/18. We are currently getting 3.65%. So we can either roll it over or look at moving it to other. And do we happen to have the rates that we're getting on our, do you remember what we're getting on our LCCU? It's probably pretty close, isn't it? Because we have a,
They were all pretty comparable.
yep. And the amount of this CD is 71,521.99.
So what's the rate on the city's money with the state, you know, what I'm talking about?
Yep, the LGIP.
Yeah. Is it more or less?
Well, it depends on which account. So I know we have 7 or 8 LGIPs and they all had different rates on them. I'm not sure why. So I think.
Because I know the LGIP, we can pull it out if we need to
Mhm.
within a day or two. If they have an LGIP account with a higher rate than what we're getting, or we can get with LCCU, whatever, that'd be my suggestion, go with that.
Does it say what the current rate is in PNFCU?
It says 3.65.
Okay.
Yep.
I think I remember the LGIPs ranging from like the 3 range up to like 4.5, depending on the account.
So, do you want to move it to
We've
LGIP?
got a-
Oh, Joe?
So we have the fire department has a super savers account up there in Kendrick, and we're at 4.5% right now.
At Latop.
At Latop.
Do we have high yield savings account?
Yes. So that might be something we might want to look into and see if we can, because that's, and as you go up, it goes more. I think if you get 60,000, it's almost 6%.
To get over 20,000, it's fine, yeah.
So that's something we just got this the other day. Unfortunately, didn't have a chance to really look at everything, so I apologize for that. But I think that Eric has a good idea as far as moving things forward with if we can get it into a higher LGIP or something where it's more easily accessible. Anybody else have?
So once it's in the CD, it's locked for the year, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And this rolls over on the 18th, so we need to decide
Yeah.
where we're going.
So if it says your certificate is set to auto renew on the maturity date unless you make a change to your election, and then we would have until March of 2026 is when it will be available again. Because I think these are actually 6 months, not years, not a year one.
So do we need to decide tonight if we're gonna look into LCCU?
LCCU, Latop Federal, or
We
LJP.
can pull our money anytime we want.
Because yours is a savings account, not a CD, right?
Right.
It's a high yield savings account.
Sorry, and the question is, do we have to make our motion
I believe.
specifically which account? That's my question. Or can we
Yes.
just say the
Yes,
highest yield?
Yes, because we would need to motion to move the money from PNFCU out of that CD, and we would need to know
We
where
have
we're
a
taking it.
specific.
We
So
need to
if we put
get
it-
in there.
So if we put it in the LGIP, we can
take
still
right
pull it
back
out if we want to put it in a high yield. with
Right.
Yeah,
LCCU.
that's easier to move
That's-
once it's in
yeah,
an
okay, that
LGIP.
makes sense.
So I move that we move the
CD into LGIP.
A second.
All in favor? Motion passes. Okay, you're up, Amanda.
Do you want me to go up there? Right here?
Wherever you want to do it.
Okay, so I reviewed the minutes when I became on the council, and I know that we used to do a community cleanup day. It was stopped because of issues with tree trimming and whatever, someone's property. But I would like to move forward doing it again. The advice, obviously, I got from the other town was to have a liability waiver, not only for your volunteers, but any homeowners. And initially, my plan would be not to do tree trimming unless like the need is there, or my idea is just to help people, like if they have brushed or stuff that they just need help. You know, some people don't have trucks and trailers or they can't physically do it. So that was just my idea of just trying to revitalize the community cleanup day volunteers. It's not like
So you're planning on getting the school involved?
possibly, I don't know the need, like I'm gonna do some, I would like to do reach, talk to citizens and see, like try to find people. You know, I don't want it to be like nobody signed up for like needing help. So, I mean, I think though that also was who tree trimmed
So,
got us in trouble.
so
So,
if I remember right, there's another issue there about kids running amok, which happens.
right,
If, I think you want us to be successful, you're gonna get the school on board, which means talk to the superintendent and the school board. And the other thing with like the tree cleanup, found out afterwards that according to state law, if there's a tree hanging over a sidewalk, city can do what it needs to do and the homeowner has no recourse.
So that's part of the Division of Public Works.
Yeah,
Justin's our Public Works Director. He has any authority to remove any brush or anything to make all sidewalks and all pathways in the city, American with Disabilities Act compliant.
yeah.
Does
So
that cost get passed on
there's
to?
no cost. The state, the city, it's a statute. The state says a city can trim trees and bushes that are hanging over the road or hanging over a sidewalk if they're impeding the sidewalk or the road.
But I think if there is, should we pass that on to the homeowner?
Do you mean like
Why
their
are we
labor?
why are we doing what they should be?
I know Soton does, that's why I bring it up.
You mean their labor? I don't understand what
Yeah,
the cost
Yeah.
is.
What it costs for,
Right,
Like
right.
let's taking them away from other jobs that they could be doing. Why wouldn't we want to pass that on to, I can see if it's a safety issue,
Yeah,
like you got a dead limit, it's got to come up, but even then, if it's homeowner's tree, I think that we would need to be careful, because if we do one person for free, then everybody
Yeah,
else is
yeah.
gonna want it for free. Well, I like the idea of all of this, it's just, you know, we start thinking liability is,
yeah.
okay, or do we need to start, you know, just considering whatever their wages are to go in, plus if something gets damaged, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, the thing is that the homeowner isn't the one who's gonna be dinged with the ADA lack of compliance. I'm pretty sure that would be the city. So
They're still, they would be held civilly liable if it falls on somebody.
that's
who
true.
hurts them.
That's true.
That's what I'm
So
saying, I think we are doing them a favor. If we're
sure.
doing it not because of an ADA issue, but because of say,
Right.
aesthetics, or because we think we ought to, that ought to be passed on.
So would you suggest like maybe a resolution for how we do that? Like we bill per hour or something like that?
if I may.
Well,
Sorry.
this is getting
We're
away
getting
from the
a little
topic
off
at
here. So, again, my idea is that I wouldn't encourage us to be going out and tree trimming
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
day unless it's like, well, I have nothing for anybody to do. Let's go.
Well, it should be pretty easy to get other things than trimming trees.
Right, like if
Giving
people
kids
just,
chainsaws.
you know, have some brush or some junk that they need help hauling off. April is the free dump day. So that was my idea, rounding up some volunteers and free labor, and then trying to find the people that need the help.
Would this include hauling people's brush and so forth?
I mean, that would be the idea. It would already be down, hopefully, like,
Gotcha.
or prearranged that it was cut, and then the volunteers are just loading it up and taking it down.
I would be worried about you going to all this work and nobody.
Well,
left-
and that's a
getting
possibility.
Left, because I've been there, done that with the
Yeah.
school.
Well, I,
And so as a teacher, I've
no.
been there, done that, left and, out in the cold by students and
Yes.
parents. If you, I would be, if I were you, I would, you want guaranteed labor, which is kids. There's nothing like child labor.
I'm sorry, I have kids and there's nothing guaranteed about my teenagers.
But no, I'm just really, I think it's a really good idea, but I'm afraid you'll be held up, you'll be kind of left out to dry if you
Well-
don't have kind of guaranteed labor, which would be through the school.
Well, I mean, again, it is just reaching out to see. I mean, if we don't have very many citizens that say they want and need the help,
Yeah.
I don't need a ton of volunteers. So if I can just round up my husband and a couple people, we should be good to go, and then just roll it from there.
I'd volunteer to help you, but I'm curious, what do you want the city's involvement to be?
So, that is an action item because I did want to ask for like a small budget, like $200 just for flyers, printing of liability, forms and everything. Probably wouldn't even be 200. And if there was leftover from printing and everything, like water and gloves, provided to the volunteers and whatever. So that's why it was an action item. So,
I think for legal, like for the actual, like, you would probably want to put that on the agenda for like the amount, so we know
Mm.
to make it like official if we move forward with that.
so. My idea, again, it's not,
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I do too.
Like I said, I would be happy to volunteer. I have a trailer and a Yukon, and we can put people in the Yukon and
I mean.
then haul the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I could use Ed's trailer, like, he'd probably help. So it's just coordinating.
Well, yeah, and the April, like you said, so April is April and
Yeah.
October are
And
household
it's
waste.
April 18th is that
There should be,
third.
there's two in
Right, but I
April.
would just
Yep.
do the third.
And then the brush, we would probably just take to our freshman that we have. So the only thing that I would ask is that maybe we put it back on and then get get a amount that you want.
Not more
Do
than
we need to
cameras though.
Do we need a motion to table it, or what do we need?
Yeah, I would just move to table and then get everything that you want listed out for next month in October and just have, Cheyenne, can we put that back on in October?
We officially move to table it?
Mhm.
Okay, I guess I'll make a motion to table this until next month.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Motion passes. Table till 10:14, and like I said, just get everything you kind of want in a dollar amount.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I think you asked for the next
Yep.
one, correct?
Yeah, so now that a lot of our big ticket items are off, like we're through the audit, mostly the budget and the lawsuits kind of died down, I have more mental capacity. So I reread through our minutes from when I took the seat in January, February, and just picked up some loose items on our agendas that we haven't done. And in doing so, we're reviewing some of our ordinances and like the dog one from the month before is kind of lacking. I've had my neighbors complaining about roosters, and technically our neighbors are compliant, but that ordinance hasn't been updated since '89. And I don't think that it's kind of relevant anymore. The town has grown. We probably don't need as many animals allowed inside city limits. So my idea for updating ordinances is, like, if you go to Troy's website, I don't know if Todd wrote this or which lawyer, but it is in depth and well defined. There's like some teeth to this, where ours is literally,
This is something
I mean, they can look at it. That's
Is one of the
Troy's. I
yeah.
was just reviewing some of the other cities to see how they review the animals and roosters and everything. So again, I don't know what the like how it's normally done to updating ordinances and kind of reviewing. But I think definitely there's some with noise complaints, animals, loose dogs could have some more meat to them.
So I believe with updating an ordinance, and I would want to double check with Todd, we would just have to do a public hearing. And I know there is at least two that need to be updated because our bank is no longer in Kendrick. And then the council pay stuff needs to be updated. So that would be something that we would want to look at, seeing which ones we want to update. I'd ask the council to, if they have a few minutes to get on the website and look and see if there's something they want to update. We'll have Todd come to October's meeting. We'll just ask him about how we go about, what the process is for updating him. Because in the almost 12 years I've been here, I don't think we've ever updated one. We've added new ones, but I don't think we've ever, remember?
Didn't you guys pay for Ken Nagy to go through and update ordinances so they could be enforceable?
Yes. Right. Yeah, so there's a process. I'm just not 100%
Right.
sure what the process is.
I mean, it's just something like when you're frustrated over the dog or whatever, and you go and look at it, and ours is just like minimal, and there's not a lot of meat to it. It's just like, oh, okay, we could probably improve upon that. And then the procedures on how to enforce. So talking with Cheyenne, when she started, she's like, there's not a clear cut process on when does she write the letter? How is it formed? What's the follow-up? And it seems like sometimes then, no shade to anybody, people get busy and things might fall off and the radar.
So I think what we have been doing is, if there's a complaint or Joe and Justin see something, then they provide pictures to Cheyenne and she provides them to Todd. And I have been anything like, if they bring it to my attention, I've been like, let's get it done. Let's enforce it.
Right.
Am trying to set up a meeting with Todd and Sheriff Skiles because we had talked about that last time about how to because some of them they don't want to enforce because of the cost and I feel the council feels the same way that ordinances need to be enforced. So, we need to just pay that fee.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still working on that. And I know that when we have our new hours set for the sheriff to be down here that we budget for, that will help them be down here more to enforce these. But I do think it's a good idea to look through some and maybe have Todd look through them as well to see if there's any that he can just, find out what our process is and maybe put a little more meat in them to make sure that they cover everything that we need to.
Right. So with the office procedures per se is like, when the homeowner came and weed whacked around next door.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, did we document this? Did we take pictures? Did we document it? Because we all know that if you don't write it down, you can't prove it. If the neighbor comes back and he's grumpy because maybe the back's not cleaned up, but we could show proof.
You mean with a camera?
Not there.
I'm just
Not
asking.
gonna put a camera on everybody's household, sorry.
I'm just.
But you take a picture,
With a camera.
just like more of a procedure for Cheyenne to follow. We can document it, we can prove it, we can put it in a file and be like, here, we can prove that we followed through or remember that we didn't follow through or the homeowner and keep it on everybody's radar, I guess.
I'm in full agreement with you on this one, Amanda. This is actually, it could be drilled down more, and I feel like we've been patient with Sheriff's Department.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and I know for a fact the mayor, because he was in here when barrels of people were coming in here and blasting us over this. And so he has been vigilant about it. And we are getting further, but I do feel like there needs to be a more specific process, especially with letter writing. I think letter writing can be done without the sheriff's department as well. And it wouldn't hurt to have, I don't know if this is a policy, or maybe Jeff can weigh in on this. Would this be a policy? Would this be a ordinance, a resolution?
It might even be able to be just a
An
directive
office.
by me,
Yeah.
Okay, or a
to-
directive by the big guy?
just to, I have to pay bills tomorrow. So Cheyenne and I will sit down and we'll come up with kind of a, procedure. And then we'll present it to council and just see. I mean, if they have any opinions on it, but I think that this is a staffing issue that could probably be just addressed by myself. That we need to come up with a procedure
Mhm.
and we just do it, because I don't know if it officially has to be an ordinance. I don't know, maybe you might know a little more on that, Jeff.
So I've had the distinct pleasure of rewriting the dog code for another city a few miles down the road. It's not hard, it's just time consuming because who's gonna write it, right? And then, but like Amanda did, that's fine. Like Troy's, let's steal Troy, like why would you want to?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the
Yeah.
procedure for
But
like
that's what I'm going,
keeping
so
track, yeah.
then we have that, and then part of the procedure is, we could put it in the ordinance, just saying, procedure is first violation, a letter from the mayor,
Mhm.
we just create a template that you insert me,
Right.
so, or in violation of whatever code, and then it's documented, cause that's what I have to do, like, when somebody's dog kills an animal, I have to have that sort of like, but the city ordinance is very specific, it has to document color of the dog, the name of the dog, the owner, like where it happened. I mean, it is specific, and if I don't put all that in there, because they can feel it in the mayor, it's thrown out. So we just have to write a really, just a tight procedure, but like I say, they're out there. We wouldn't be the first ones to do this.
Yeah.
So I think it's more just drilling down the work. And then the other thing would just be like the follow-up, like on this with the trimming, like whose job is it going to be to make sure that that is documented? And where does that go?
Mhm.
Like, do we have a file somewhere or do we just have it on a computer somewhere? Like, we would need to, so once again, we have great ideas, but the retention and
Right.
how long do we have to retain that? And who has access to that? It's just those little tidbits that the idea is great. It's all those little things
Little
afterwards, but I
legalities,
fully
yeah.
support it. I mean, I probably called the sheriff's on a lot of things, and, many animals I've killed between people's dogs in this town, and I've had my frustrations with them too, because, and one thing that, like our city attorney, their recommendation is always, if there's already a state code, don't have a city code, because you read about, like, we had a city code that made it like if your dog was loose was an infraction, the state code's like a misdemeanor or something. It's like, well, which one do you write? Because this one, it's a fine, this one you actually have to go to court. So, if there's already state codes, and I know that's what the sheriff's department has told me, is they prefer to write like dog at large, they prefer to write the state code. It's just easier, city doesn't have to be involved, I show them pictures or whatever, so I think it's not hard, it's just taking the time and who wants to, but it sounds like Amanda's already way ahead of this, and like, she likes Troy.
I have nothing else to do
Troy,
during the day,
yeah.
So
I'm not saying that.
I got a question, Jeff, follow up on it. So if we did a retention policy, would we be covering in your assessment, like all information collected, or would it be
If
just
you,
for each
like,
one?
I would recommend, like, go to the City of Lewis's website and like, just go to their thing, search retention and find the 2024, and it's broke down, like, so like, the police department, we have 4 or 5 pages of retention, and we got a ton of it, because one's for body cam, one's for digital media, we created evidence, blah, 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 but we have like a specific one that says cameras around our department. Any of the videos, just our security cameras, it's like 45 days. But other buildings may be different within the city. Each department, like human resources, their personnel records, and some are set by state code, some are, a lot of times are, like, I was looking it up, I was in there, like surveillance video can be set by the municipality, how long we want it.
Gotcha.
Recommendation is 30 days, but we can set it for whatever we want.
So
Everything's, yeah.
So it's essentially one policy, but every department is outlined under the one
Correct,
policy.
because everybody has their own little, so if we wanted to say, we wanted to have the retention for the water plant different than City Hall because of the concerns that we could totally do that, but that's where I think getting Todd involved, and once again, let's just take somebody else's and tune it a little bit, put our name on it.
Yeah.
Not about that.
I was just gonna say, inter-office policies and any retention policies would be handled resolution.
Okay.
It is, and 100%, that's what we have to do, that every year we get a thing saying, hey, do you want to change any of these things? Because there's transitory, there's permanent, there's semi-permanent, and depending on how we can sometimes say what one is, or state code says this is a type of, whether it's transitory, whether it's permanent, whether it's semi-permanent, and those have minimum retention periods, you always go over them, you can't go below, and that's where having the attorney is like, okay, is this a transitory, like, like the surveillance video is usually transferred because there's usually not too much to it, but you want to have for a length time. But like digital video that we create at the police department, we have our own retention periods for, if it's just anything and it's nothing there, it's like for 2 years we keep it. But if it's like a use of force, we keep it for like 50 years, so we can tweak it however we want. It's just putting a pen to paper, going on the internet and stealing somebody's, making it up. But I like it.
Was, reading something on that.
Okay. So, we'll probably get with Todd and make sure he's at October and, have some stuff ready for
Not that bad.
the retention policy and for cameras and everything else, just so when all that happens, it's all clear as mud, whatever happens. Okay, Justin, staff reports.
Okay, so I found the Christmas file. I got an estimate for everything that I wanted to order. The prices have gone up significantly. The grand total is $9,386. So I'm going to cut out the 4-foot happy holiday sign that we were gonna put in the park anyway. So I'm squeaking in at $6,420, but our shipping should be less now because I'm not getting that sign. Total shipping was $1,640, which should be less now, so I'll be right at the 6,000 for town. So I'm gonna go ahead and order those and get them going. And it does say on their website, American craftsmanship in every space. So these are not items that are being imported from somewhere else.
Oh,
They're
good.
made in Pennsylvania.
So you want to pass around, so the council can see what you got?
Yeah, I can pass around the bid and.
What part of Pennsylvania?
Technical, man. East or west?
I have a snowman somewhere too. I must have left the picture somewhere, but anyway. The stocking, the star, all of those things. I've heard through the vine that a block on State Street is having a block party for Halloween. So I would encourage citizens on State Street and all over town, if they want to blow out this Halloween and have Julietta be on the map, then Halloween is becoming a thing.
It's
And I also want to put feelers out there for the Christmas contest lights. We did it last year. It seemed to be a really unifying and big success. One of the comments was we need to let the citizens vote on the decorations. So there's QR codes. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that, but I just want to let everybody know I kind of think that's a good idea for this year. We had the dump truck maintenance yesterday. My truck is going in. We talked about doing the backhoe and the John Deere tractor, and we changed the oil in the mower, changed the oil in the gator. So we're doing all the maintenance, trying to get all that caught up. And I think that was about all I needed to talk about. And if Joe may have more, but yeah, so.
Okay, Jeff?
Okay, so again, I came down, what was it, Monday? Friday? When did I come down? Friday. And, had Cheyenne write an email to Todd, just following up on some things that I know that we've been waiting on. So again, just trying to make sure we're staying on top of things, putting the pressure on Todd, which I know he's super busy, but just trying to do that. So I was asking about, the agreement with the Baseball Association, how we are possibly addressing the monthly payables that are, might give us late fees. The planning and zoning committee, and then there was the mention of the business licenses. As she said earlier before the meeting, he has not responded. So again, those are all things that we discussed in our meetings that then Todd is supposed to be handling and getting back to us. And it's been several months, so I was just trying to follow up on that, which everybody is, I was just in my chart. So then we're just remind people that in October, the bulky waste site is open for household trash. And then I couldn't remember how long we have the brush bin.
I think we usually go
We kept it till December last year.
December?
Yeah.
Because people
Christmas
started
trees.
using it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think we budgeted, we budget all year for it.
Yeah, I believe so.
But I think when the snow gets real bad, we pull it for like January or February sometimes. But I would definitely like to see it through at least the first part of January, Christmas trees and stuff. That would be my thoughts.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yes. So just reminding people that's available. That's it.
Okay, yeah, the Baseball Association, we have worked up some stuff that we're gonna send to Todd and get him going on that. And then I will also follow up with Todd again about some of these things, because it has slipped through the cracks a little bit, but, Todd is busy and everything else has been kind of crazy as well. But we will make sure we follow up on, some of those things. One of those, I think Cynthia will be talking about here in a little bit. Everybody got the fee schedule, so we have to pass the resolution in, right, we have to repass this, don't we, in October?
Just sometime. I don't know if it has.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
I would ask the council to look at these and see if there's anything they want to change. This would also be the time if we were going to have, Amanda from Latah County talk about our garbage rates or anything like that. So just look and see. I don't think we've actually, the only thing that we've ever really adjusted on these would be sometimes we increase the water that 4.99%, or the garbage rates if the garbage rates go up with the contract. So it's just.
I think the single wide fees a little low.
Is it your intent to do like an action item in October for the fees, or do you just want to?
Well, we want to, I did ask to look at them, I think before you got appointed, to look at these, because we usually kind of go through these to budget, but we do have to pass a resolution this year on our fee schedule. So we can push it till November, but I would like the council to look at these and see, and then I would ask, we'll reach out to Amanda from Latah County just to make sure our garbage rates are still in par with the contract. And then if we want to look at, any other rates, like I said, sometimes in the past, we've raised the water rate, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we do have that, we did have a savings account for the garbage where, it was to have somebody represent us at the contract, and I represented the city at the contract, so we still have some of that money in there that instead of passing the fee on to our citizens, we've absorbed that a couple times. So we just want to make sure with Amanda that, because as I've read the contract, I don't know line by line when it was supposed to jump. So that would be the only one that would really kind of stand out. Do we want to just double check and make sure if we need to move some money around or how we want to do that? But if there's anything else like, oh, like Eric said, the single wide fees or cemetery plots or anything like that, just something to look at. And I do want to, and I'm sure Eric and Mark will probably talk about it as well, the Blackberry Festival this weekend, correct?
Yes.
Yep, hope to see everybody down there. Mark?
Thank you. So speaking of single wides, I'm trying to purchase one. I've bought and sold a bar. I've bought and sold real estate, and this is the hardest one I've ever done. I was talking to an electrician today, a buddy of mine, and he said someone in Kendrick's going through the same thing and someone in Troy, and it seems pretty ridiculous to me because it's adequate, affordable housing. And so I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah, so and I was telling the mayor earlier how much I appreciate Cheyenne, especially because the city's been the easiest part to work with. So I appreciate that. And then all I want to say is I think some of what people are seeing up here the last couple of months is political. And I think our residents deserve better than that. So come prepared next month because you can imagine I'm going to be. So that's all I have.
Not much. We talked about grants. I've been working on the sidewalk grant and making progress. I'll have time this weekend to work on it a little bit. It was quite involved. I've never done a state grant before, but yeah. That's all I got.
I have clerks conference the 23rd, 24th, and 25th of this month. So I'll be headed down to Boise Monday after work and then coming back Thursday evening. And I have a meeting this Thursday, with Cassell to move forward with getting the hosted set up as well as the community portal, because those will work hand in hand. So we're hoping within the next couple weeks, all of that will be ironed out and up and running, and residents can make that transition over from using Payport to the community portal. Cassell does have like a tutorial video that I think it would be nice if we uploaded that to our website when everything kind of rolls out, so the community can watch it if they'd like to see how they can set up the account and all of the benefits of it, and get that going. And I think that's it. All of the additional Cassell programs are great. So thank you guys.
So, when you're in conference, are one of you able to, or just to keep office open for payments, or, because I know it's just usually a slow week, so if you guys aren't available, then we'll just want to make sure we post it. It's due to training, which we've had to in the past, because both girls usually went before. So if one of you guys is able to,
Unless there's an emergency, one of us should be able to, or we'll both take turns during the day, keeping the office open. And then on that note, Joe and I and Frank are going to the operators conference in Moscow this year on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of October. So we'll be in Moscow during the day, but we can be reached by phone, and if we need to come back or whatever, we can, but.
And the hosted will be up and running by the time I leave for conference, so I will be able to take a laptop and have access to Cassell if need be.
check. Cynthia?
Well, on the planning with Zoe, Justin, as the treasurer, has written a check for half of the funds to send to Kendrick. And then the other half will be transferred, give them time to cash the check. The other half will be transferred into Juliaetta's, so we won't have to have a separate checking account. And we already have all of our mail come here to the Julietta City Hall. And so there's no post office to worry about. And we have our records kept upstairs, so we've got all of that taken care of.
And someone asked me, why does planning and zoning need money? And the reason is because we have to publicize our public hearings in the newspaper, and that costs money. And we also pay for printing costs and those kind of things. So someone asked from the community, why should planning and zoning have money? And so that was my explanation.
And there, sometimes we might be more complicated things, and you might have to hire an outside expert for something.
Okay, anything else, Cynthia?
That's it for now.
Okay, Clifford? Joe? Okay. We will now open it for public comments. Does anybody have any comments from the public?
I just had a question on the follow-up to make legal fees available to the public to look on the website to see what cases are pending, are being litigated, and how much that's costing our community to litigate those cases.
Yeah.
So we did approve the payables to be published on the website. Were they published for?
Well, we just approved it 2 weeks ago, so tomorrow, now that we approved August payables, I'll get that on the website tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
And
anybody?
I don't know if council's interested. I mean, I could always back add previous months if that's an interest. It wouldn't be too hard, but I'll at least start with August payables being uploaded tomorrow onto the website.
And will that include like case numbers and things like that? If people want to.
Do you have a copy of the bills that we just sent around, Cheyenne?
Yeah, it's the same thing I showed you last time. It doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't list.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, it just has attorney fees, so if anybody wanted public information, they would just have to come and do a public records request.
Which there won't be any attorney fees on August bills. Just so you know. But moving forward, I can put that in the description, if that would be helpful. Yeah, no problem.
Dylan?
Can I add something to that? If there's any legal fees associated with the wastewater treatment plant project, I would suggest that it's noted in some way that those are covered by the project funds paid by grant dollars. So that the public knows that that's not coming out of the city's general fund.
Okay. And
Because we did have some of that.
Yep.
And that's not covering, litigation, correct? Is that what we talked
Well,
about?
like, it depends on what you mean by litigation.
And with our
So,
liberty,
yeah, everything with Liberty, that's included.
okay, even when it went through the
that's-
court,
Yes, that's
System.
reimbursable.
okay. Perfect.
So if that hasn't been reimbursed to you yet, then visit with
Margaret.
me and Margaret. Yeah, make sure
Okay.
Margaret's gotten those invoices and we can get those reimbursed into the project funds.
Okay, perfect.
As long as it has to do with the wastewater treatment plant project.
Okay.
Is there any other public comment?
Can I comment on like some of the discussion that you guys have had?
Yep, that's what the
Okay.
public, so we.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure. Ms. Fletcher, I'm thankful for you for the privacy comments. You're preaching to the choir. But recently I have had to put up 4 cameras outside my house because of things that are going on and I did not feel safe. My daughter did not feel safe. So water of all things, I mean, that's our health, that's our life. I firmly believe that that is something that we should protect and keep safe. I do value privacy, but there's other things that are more important.
Right, and if I can respond, I have no problem with the cameras inside and protecting everything. The main point would be that he want the camera pointed on the trail to get that, and that, my idea is that can be done with a trail cam for the motor vehicles. Again, the cameras, I think, are a great idea. It's just at what point do we move forward or making sure that all the ducks are in a row before we do so? That's just my thought.
I just wanted to add, because
Yeah.
I'm all about privacy and unfortunately that's come to be. And then when you're considering the ordinances with the animals and the chickens and the roosters, don't forget the peacocks. And I think you're gonna have probably a fight if you do something about the roosters and not the peacocks. And I have chickens, but I have no roosters, so I don't have any fight in that game. And then, I'm sorry, last thing, on the alley on 4th Street, just a block up towards the school, there was a wire hanging down from the power pole. I haven't been by in like 4 or 5 days, but hopefully somebody can address that because that is a safety concern too.
Is that
Mr. Mayor.
Spectrum?
I spoke with Spectrum today. They actually reached out to me because they were headed that way to, they didn't see how they could hang it from above and to keep it safe and from it not being knocked down. So they were actually planning on going under the road
Okay,
with it.
okay, so it's not hanging anymore?
Well, it
If
was,
it's
it was
pretty bad.
earlier today, but I think they
Okay.
were on their way out
Good,
today
because it's been like a month and a half.
Yeah, and we
called
both have
twice.
spoke with Spectrum twice
Okay,
about it.
thank you.
Yeah, but yeah,
I didn't know who else
Spectrum
to
reached
tell,
out to
so
me about
thank
it,
you.
and I'd gotten a call from another concerned resident today, so it's perfect they called. I said, well, while you're out there, can you fix this one? That's where we're headed. I was like, great. So
I'd
it
like
should
to-
be taken care of, but let me know if
Thank
you
you,
see it down
I
there.
appreciate it.
I didn't know we could do this, but I would like to follow up as well, just to clarify. And thank you for sharing that too, but the walking trail is not a private spot, it's public.
It's not-
I would just like to comment on that. We also have cameras around our house. I'm big on privacy. Don't get out of my business. What I do on my property is mine. But as regard to the water, my husband just retired from the water district. Not here, but cameras are vital to protect our water sources from outside threats that we may not even know exist or accidents. That area, my opinion on the trail, I do walk the trail as well, is a very small fraction of the trail. If someone's walking it, you're only going to be on camera seconds versus what could potentially be going on that you may need cameras for. We have cameras all over our house. Just last weekend, some nimskull was driving through our property, pulling a fifth wheel trailer at 10 o'clock at night, like in our backyard. So yeah, cameras come in really handy to find out what's going on in your properties in the middle of the night.
I got lost.
And he was drunk, just, he doesn't drink, he doesn't drink.
No, like 10 o'clock at night. It's just, they parked in our yard and my husband's going up and going, what's going on? And then they took off.
Yeah.
Well, I love public comment sections.
Is there any more public comment?
On the ordinances, so just to clarify, it's just, you're mainly wanting to update the ordinances to lay out a plan to enforce your current ordinances. Because we need to be mindful that a lot of people moved out to Julietta because of a lot of restrictions that like Kendrick or Lewiston have. And you could potentially be alienating those people who moved out here by creating ordinances that are much more restrictive than they currently are. And for people who already live out here, you need to be thinking about, if you're going to make them more restrictive, grandfathering people in. It's not fair to the community members that have already been here
For 15 years or longer, you know.
that you suddenly tell them that if they have horses on their property, they can no longer have horses on their property. So I think you need to be very mindful of that. Now, if we're talking about creating enforcement for dogs at large, absolutely. Creating enforcement for when our ordinance says that you are only allowed one rooster and not 12, absolutely. But if you're going to create more restrictions, then I think that that's a slippery slope, that's a lot of people bought property out here in Julietta, and that's why they moved out here to Julietta.
Also, we have the comprehensive plan, which I suppose most people don't know about, but it was on the website. But that's something the planning and zoning came up with, and then we were supposed, and the city council mayor approved of it. And it sets a goal of retaining the atmosphere of the city, of being, a rural area, and, there for things like that. So you might want to review that to see when you want to make any changes to the ordinance to see if it fits in with a comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
Good points.
I'm sorry, you did say there'd be a public hearing before ordinances would be changed, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's state law.
Process.
So
Yeah.
it will be,
That's
it will
good.
be published in the Lewiston Tribune twice.
Usually twice in 14 days, but I would prefer so.
Yeah, I think we,
Once 30 days before, I think for ordinances.
yeah, we will publish it in the Tribune.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Any other comment? Okay, motion to adjourn,
Motion.
second,
Second.
all in favor? Adjourn.
Well,
Has anyone ever voted that down?
Wasn't an hour, but we.
Oh, I think I did that wrong.
You'll be back
What
next
happened?
month.